Hi, this is Reggie Cobb, biology professor at Nash Community College. Today I would like to share with you the steps for creating meta-link courses in Moodle. Now, this can be used to help instructors manage courses that are the same course and have the same content, but may have are divided into different sections. This is especially important for biology classes that may have the same lecture but then divide into labs, where most of the content is within the lecture part of the course. Also for online classes, if an instructor is teaching two sections of the same course that start at the same time, this could be an option. So these are the 6 steps we will follow to creating a meta-link course. First of all, you will turn on grouping in the master section. We'll create groups in the master section. And third, we'll add the students to the master section into a group. And then we will meta-link the subsequent section or sections to the master section. And then we will add the students to those sections from the other groups, or in the other groups. And then we will hide the subsequent sections so that when the student who's in those other sections logs in, they won't see the master section and their original section that they were placed into automatically when they sign up for the course. So we'll begin with step 1 by turning on grouping. So to be able to get to your admin area, you want to select administration block if you don't have it over to the side, and you're going to select edit settings, sort of toward the bottom. So scroll down to the bottom to groups, and we want to turn on groups. Now we want to do visible groups and just leave the other settings as they are. So the visible groups mean that everybody sees everything in there. You could separate the groups where you could have them see separate things, but in this case we're trying to let everybody see the same thing, same content. So when you post any documents, you will only have to post it once versus in all the different sections of the same course. We will save this and go back to the main page. And next we need to create groups in the master section. So go here to their administration block and go to users. Go to and click on the groups. And right now there's no groups named here, so we need to create a group. So for example, we want this group to actually be this section here, so we'll just call it section OL01, and you can just leave everything else the way it is. You don't need to do anything, just hit save changes. And so now we should have a section 1, and we're going to go ahead and do a section 5 because that's where we're going to pull another group from. So we're going to do section OL05. Alright, so now we've created the groups, and now what we want to do is we want to add students from the master section in a group. And the reason why I do this first is so it makes it easier when we bring the other members in. Oops, actually I need to change that to, let's go back to the groups. I need to go to section 01 because this is the course that we're actually in. Right now what we can do is we can highlight all of these students. And then we can add them over here. So now they're in this group called section OL01. You can add yourself if you want to, but you don't really need to do that. And the reason why we're doing this is so that we can manage the gradebook easier. You know, if you weren't using the gradebook, you wouldn't necessarily need to do this, but this makes it easier for tracking the students within this course. The students are still in when we meta-link now, which is the next step. When we do the meta-linking of the subsequent sections, they're still listed in the other course, but what we're going to do is we're going to list them in this course as well. So what we want to do is go back to our main page, and we want to turn on meta linking. So we need to go back to our administration block and go to users and do select enrollment methods. And then there's different ways that you can enroll: guest access, self-enroll. But what we're going to do is do the add a method, and it's called course meta link. When you select this, what you're going to do is you're going to select that group there. Now, actually, when you do this with the course meta linking now, this is a new feature, a recent feature, that now you can actually add it to the group and you don't have to select the students. It will add them automatically if you set up the groups ahead of time. So that's why I want you to make the groups first. So this group here for the fall class, and I know we're doing summer and fall, I'm just showing you how you would put these together. You would click on this section here, because that's what we had labeled it, and so we want to say add method. And so if those students were to log in right now, the fall section, we have 19 in one class, 15 in the other. If they were to log in right now, they would actually see both courses. So what we would need to do is, and I'll show you in just a minute, so let's go back to the group so you can see what it looks like. So if we click on this group here, you can see the students that are in that original section that we had selected. Now we have 15 from the other section. Now when we go to the grade book, this allows us to be able to select either all participants, or you can say, oops, and this is another thing you can do. Like right now I'm in group 5 because I said I wanted to be group 5. So what I would suggest is that we go back to our groups, which is, that's where we were, and I would take myself out of that instead of me being, I actually have to touch my do it. So I want to remove myself from the group so it doesn't have me listed. Now when we go back to the grade book now, it won't have my groups, it'll just have 3 things. It looks a little bit neater there. And what you can do here is you can filter through, you can have all the students listed in the grade book, like so it has every single student, or you can divide it into whichever section you want to look at their grades or manage their grades. So that's why you want to do the group setting and add them to different groups. But now what happens is, now when you get ready to add an announcement, or you get ready to add a document or something, you only need to do this one time. And so before we finish here, I do want to make sure that we do the last step, which is we want to hide the subsequent sections. Now yes, I realize that both of these are hidden right now, but if this were a live course, I would go into the section 5 now and go to the administration settings, do the edit settings, and then you would select hide the course. And what this does is it prevents that student from, when they look at my courses, instead of having this course listed and the summer summer OL01 course, both of those listed, they would only have this one listed, where that's the one that you actually developed and have it prepared. Now if you are going to meta link, you do not have to create and manage any parts of that. So you can leave, like for instance, you can leave this one blank just like this one is. I did not import anything in. The students won't see this as long as you hide it, and all the grades and everything will be over in the other section. So you can just use this to manage this section. I hope that this is very helpful to you. This is again for an instructor who has multiple sections of the same course, and you're doing the same thing. Now if you're doing a day class and a night class and you have different assignments and different time frames of when assignments are due, or for instance I've had a class that starts at the beginning of the semester and a class that starts 2 weeks in, I really couldn't meta link those together because the announcements were different. Their pacing is quite different for those, so I wouldn't necessarily meta-link those together. But the courses are starting at the same time. If you're an on-campus instructor and your courses or your sections are meeting at the same time, maybe for a lecture, and then you split up for the lab, this might be a doable thing for you. Or if you're an online instructor and you're teaching multiple sections of the same thing and you start it at the same time, you could meta-link your courses together. I hope that this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Let me get back to one of these that's developed here. You can email me at rcobb@nastcc.edu if you have any questions or need further assistance, and have fun developing courses online.